Beresheet, Genesis. Shalom and welcome, my name is Ellie, my friends and I are on a journey to discover many new and exciting adventures. Our first adventure begins with discovering how the world was created in just 6 days. In the beginning there was no stars or planets. No sea or sky. No trees or plants. No animals or people. In the beginning there was only God. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. God said, "It is good." God named the light, day, and the darkness, night. This was the first day. Then God said, "Let us divide the water in two." God made the sky and sea. God said, "It is good." This was the second day. The next day God said, "Let us make dry land and plants to cover the land." God made flowers and trees, grass and leaves. God said, "It is good." This was the third day. Next, God made the two large lights, the sun for day and the moon for night. He also made the stars. God said, "It is good." This was the fourth day. The next day God said, "Let us fill the sea with living things, and let the birds to fly in the sky." God made little fish, big fish and all types of birds. God said, "It is good." This was the fifth day. The next day God filled the earth with animals. Then God said, "Let us make people in our image and likeness." God said, "It is good." This was the sixth day. On the seventh day, God rested. God saw all that he had made and said, "It is very good." God made the seventh a very special day to all men, and he called this seventh day the Sabbath. When God had finished making all things, he said, "Let us make man in our own image." He made man out of the dust and called the man Adam. God gave Adam a job to name all the animals he made. But God saw that Adam was alone. God knew exactly what to do. He caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. While Adam slept, God took out one of his ribs and created a beautiful woman. When Adam awoke, he saw someone just like him, but a little different, and he called her Eve. Adam and Eve lived in the garden God had created. They enjoyed their relationship with God and each other. The Garden of Eden was a beautiful place. God instructed that they could from every fruit from the trees in the garden, except the tree of good and bad. Adam and Eve enjoyed everything God made. One day, when Eve was walking through the garden, she heard a snake calling her. The snake convinced Eve to eat a fruit from the tree of bad which God warned them not to eat. The snake was so convincing that she took a fruit and ate it. She thought it was so delicious and called Adam to eat, and he did eat too. But then, Adam and Eve began to feel weird. They knew they had done something very bad. They realized that they didn't have any clothes on. Just then, in the cool of the day, God came and called to Adam. "Adam, where are you?" When they heard God's voice, they hid themselves. God asked Adam, "What happened?" Adam explained what happened and God said that they would have to leave the perfect garden. But God promised that one day someone would come to save them from their sin. Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden because of their sin. They found a new place to live. A place where they could plant food and keep animals. Adam and Eve had 2 sons. The first son was called Cain. Cain became a farmer and grew food to eat. The second son was called Abel. The second son was called Abel, and he became a shepherd and looked after the animals. Cain and Abel brought gifts to God. It was a way to say thank you. But Cain's heart was different than Abel's. God was pleased with Abel, but not with Cain. Cain became angry and jealous of his brother and killed him. Cain thought nobody would know. But God knew what Cain had done. Cain had to leave, but God promised to protect him. And Adam and Eve had another son and called him Seth. Thank you for joining us on this amazing journey. We hope to see you next week for another amazing adventure. Shalom.